Hi, everyone. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money and Markets, here with your weekly marijuana market update. Now, I want to start by thanking everyone who watch our videos every week. It's a volatile time to be in the market, and I just want you to know that Adam, Charles, and I, we've got your back. We're going to help you through it, through the good times and the rough patches. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, get notified each and every time we post up a new video. Also check out moneyandmarkets.com. This is where you can go and search our proprietary stock power rating system and get the ratings of thousands of stocks out there on the market. You'll see a breakdown of fundamental and technical ratings, which make up the overall rating of a stock. Just go to moneyandmarkets.com, type in a ticker or a company in that top right-hand bar, and you'll be able to see its ranking, stock chart, fundamental data, any analysis we publish, and it's all right there at your fingertips. You can also build your own watch list, track stock performance, all sorts of good stuff. And it's all on our website, moneymarkets.com, and you can do that for free. Now, in today's marijuana market update, I'm going to focus on cannabis earnings and their relation to cannabis stocks. Now, it's been a rough couple of weeks for the stock market. As of last week, major stock market indices have been just taking an absolute beating. All three indices were down between 9.5% and 4% in the last month, and between 22.4% and 9.4% year to date. On Monday of this week, those losses were extended. The S&P 500 fell 3.2% to close below 4,000, while the tech-heavy Nasdaq Composite closed down 4.3%, and the Dow was off 2%. And those losses just continued into Tuesday morning. Factors for the broad sell-off include high inflation, low Fed reaction to that inflation, and continued pressures over the war in Ukraine. Supply chain issues, all sorts of things are factoring in to this market sell-off. And the sell-off has created additional pressure on the cannabis market. Now, if we look at the Money and Markets Cannabis Index, it shows a decline of the broader cannabis market overall. The index is an equal-weighted index that includes all cannabis stocks with a market cap of more than $1 million. For the last 12 months, that index has plummeted 53.6%. The decline has been steady and extremely frustrating if you are a cannabis investor, and especially when you factor in the state of earnings as well. What I did is I want to look at some of the most recent cannabis earnings that I found. It's not a complete list by any stretch, and there's likely more out there, but I just want to kind of pull in some cannabis earnings that have been more recent, at least through the quarters that ended on March 31st. So here is a list of those, and what I did is I want to look at the company, when their quarter ended, what their quarterly sales figures were, the year-over-year growth, and I want to look at the PDE ratio if it was available. So again, just a sampling of cannabis earnings, most reporting quarters, like I said, ending March 31st of 2022. And as you can see, the trend shows cannabis sales are up. The average year-over-year sales increases of the cannabis companies listed is 55%, which is very, very strong for the cannabis industry, especially considering how we're coming out of even strong years in 2020 during the pandemic and 2021, where that momentum carried through. So we're seeing that momentum even get even stronger with sales into 2022. Now, of note, one thing on here, the sales figures for Jazz Pharmaceuticals is only cannabis-related sales, not their total quarterly sales. Their total quarterly sales were close to $800 million, whereas their cannabis sales only were about $157.9 million. So we are seeing a trend where increased sales are across the board for cannabis companies. However, that hasn't translated in the slightest to better positioning for the stocks. Now, in the chart, you can also see the price to earnings ratio for each of these companies. Now, if it has NA listed next to it, it means that the company typically has a negative ratio, thus is losing money. So you see quite a few there that have NA. It means they're not making any money even still, despite the fact that sales are up. Now, here's a stock chart for one of my bullish cannabis plays, Innovative Industrial Properties, Inc. It trades on the ticker IIPR. This is a cannabis-related real estate investment trust that owns, operates, and leases property to cannabis companies looking for retail or growing space. Now, from May 21 to November 21, the stock ran up 45%, even when the rest of the cannabis market was kind of flailing about. However, since reaching that high, the stock has dropped to where it is now, which is about 22.5% down from where it was a year ago. But if you remember the table that I showed you earlier, IIPR's year-over-year growth in sales was 50%, which is extremely strong. However, that has not translated into a price bump for the stock. We can also look at Cronos Group as an example as well. It trades on the exchange under CRON. Cronos has year-over-year sales growth of 99% rather, which is even more impressive than IIPR. Yet the stock is down 54% over the last 12 months. A bright spot for Cronos is that, and it is slight, is that there is an uptrend in the stock that's very minute right now. It's really not enough to suggest that we've hit the bottom of the dip, but it is encouraging to see that there is a slight, very, very slight bullish trend in the stock as of right now. Now, what all this tells me is that the big market investors are less concerned about sales growth in the cannabis market and more concerned about trading on big headlines, which is something I mentioned before. Due to the lack of federal legality of cannabis, that's basically what we have to go on. However, smart investors like you are looking beyond headlines and actually looking at growth metrics of these stocks. This is where your focus should be, along with valuation metrics. Don't trade on headlines because you're not going to make any money on that. You make money investing smart and in good fundamental companies with strong value and good growth potential. And there are cannabis companies out there that have it. So the key is try to figure out where those are, and that's where you put your money in. Now, be careful on investing on the dip, because again, I'm not sure that we actually have seen it yet. I've talked about this about a month ago when stocks were down. I said, you can invest on a dip, but I don't think we're there. And come to find out, we weren't. So if you invested then, your portfolio is seeing even more loss than you would if you just be patient and wait for a bit of an uptrend. So that's all for me this week. I just want to make a correlation between cannabis earnings and how their stock prices are still moving down, despite the fact that earnings are very, very positive for several cannabis companies out there that have reported so far. Now, if you have a question about a cannabis stock or maybe even the broader cannabis market, you can email me at feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. We'll drop that down below. So you can email me anytime. I love to see your feedback. And if you don't want to email, you can comment down below here on our YouTube channel. If you send us a question and we use it, we're going to send you some very cool Money and Markets gear, like a T-shirt that not this one, but a T-shirt that I have on. Charles Sizemore, our Green Zone Fortunes co-editor, actually suggested we try to sell a T-shirt that I've actually worn. I don't really see that there's marketability in that, but I guess he's willing to try. But if you do, like I said, send us a question and we'll use it, we will send you some very cool Money and Markets gear. Don't forget about all the great content that we have on our YouTube channel. It is the best investment insight, and it is all yours for free. Follow me on Twitter. I'll give you more insight, not just in the cannabis market, but the broader market, sports, all sorts of good stuff. You can find me on Twitter at Invest with Matt C. That's Invest with Matt C on Twitter. Thanks again to everyone who watches our videos each and every week. We do it because we want to bring you the best insight, not just into cannabis investing, but to broader investing in the economy, and make sure you are making the right moves for your portfolio now and in the future. Check out moneymarkets.com every day for content that provides safe, sound, smart, simple, profitable investment information for your portfolio. I'm Matt Clark, research analyst for Money Markets and your host of the Marijuana Market Update. Until next time, everyone, safe trading.